Welcome to episode 6 of Coffee with Kelsey. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't caught up with the previous 5 episodes, be sure to go back and listen to those episodes as well. Let's go ahead and dive in today. Let's warm up with a little jive. The famous opening to many of our early morning lessons. Now, those early morning lessons, they were technically scheduled for before the studio opened. Yes, so sometimes we actually weren't able to get into the studio until maybe like 5 or 10 minutes before our lessons actually started. So that meant we were stretching and warming up in the building's lobby. Yes, we were using any space we possibly could to try to prepare ourselves mentally and physically for the lessons. And sometimes, that was a little difficult, but we made do. We had to do what we had to do. And very, very often our lessons would start with us going in and, let's warm up with a little bit of jive. She puts on the jive music and away we go. In one of our first lessons with our coach, we made the decision to take a break from competing and basically start over with our training. There were a lot of gaps in our training and a lot of things that we missed one way or another along the way. And in order for us to really fill those gaps and to get on the same page, speaking the same dance language, we needed to take some time and just focus on fundamentals and going back to the beginning. Going back to basics was the absolute best decision we could have made. It gave us time to seriously up-level our dancing and start speaking the same language together, as much as possible at least. We're always different, but it gave us some time to really start focusing and trying to figure out what's important to us in our dancing, and also just going back and filling in those gaps that we didn't know were missing until we started to actually train with her. We quite literally spent the first 6 months of our training together on rumba walks. Yes, on rumba walks and cha-cha, and then worked into samba and paso and jive, and it gave us a completely different perspective and a sense of quality that we had not been able to find in our dancing before. It was something that we needed to take time and spend time to do this. So in total, we probably took about a year off from competing just to go in and dig into our training and really up level our dancing, our partnership, our performance level. And it was honestly the best decision that we could have made at that time, because it gave us a chance to really get to a level that we would not have been able to if we had still been going out and performing. We needed to get into the nitty-gritty. We needed to get into all of those details and minute things that if you go out and compete all the time, you're not going to be able to focus on really getting those fine, minute details, starting to implement them. When it came time for us to pick a competition to come back and showcase all of these details and all of the hard work we'd been putting in for the past year, Igor and I started to talk, and, we realized that maybe we don't fit into this amateur category anymore. Maybe this isn't where we should be dancing. We needed to talk to our coach and see what she thought and where we should go, what we should be doing. So we brought that up to her in a lesson, and she agreed. She said, I really don't think that this is the category that you should pursue. I think you should turn professional and dance in the rising star in the open events. So with that, the pressure was on, and we were on our way to preparing for our professional debut. Together with our coach, we picked an event for our professional debut. Now, we had a few months to get everything together, but there was still a lot of work to do. We had to, design our costumes, have them made, and we had to also think of a lot of details and get it into our heads. The pressure of our professional debut was really, really hitting us, but it was also very exciting. We started to spend a lot more time in the studio separately, just to work on things ourselves individually and then come together more. It was definitely a process, and, we were both really feeling that pressure to perform and to have a good showing for our first time out. But also, we wanted to go out and enjoy it. We wanted to go out and dance, enjoy the music, enjoy the atmosphere and the people, and not focus on the results. After a bit of sifting and talking around to some of our friends, we decided on a designer for our costumes and started the process of, picking the designs, what colors, and all of these things that we wanted for our first look on the professional floor. And let me tell you, my head was spinning in so many different directions of, what colors should I wear? What should I look like? And it was a little bit, honestly, overwhelming, because I had this image of myself on the floor, but I didn't know how to translate that in the design that I wanted. And, I'm so grateful for our dressmaker, because she is just, not only is she an absolute incredible seamstress, she is an absolute amazing designer. And looking at someone and saying, these are your shapes, these are the colors, this is what's going to really pop on you, this is what's going to really enhance what you do. And she was very, very helpful in kind of getting my mind in a better place to not enter freak out mode. And that was really, really great, because I don't know what I would have done without her. I probably would have had a bunch of dresses made and then not worn any of them on that point, because I was so stressed out about what my first look should be on the floor. Let's leave it there for today, and we'll pick up where we left off next time. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Coffee with Kelsey. Be sure to follow the podcast, and I'll see you next time.